See, I dream about our babies. Gazing them days and contagious, you're my baby. We know each other like the back of our hands. Understand, there's no mistaking, I'm taking, 'cause you're my drug.
What's good, YouTube? It's your girl, Asia.
And it's your boy, BJ.
Back in the building.
Back in effect. Back like we never left. Y'all, we back in the building with another reaction. We appreciate y'all for tuning in. And as you can see by the thumbnail, today we're going to be tapping into a new video. We're going to be checking out Ben Shapiro and Malcolm Nance on critical race theory.
Let's get back into...
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. But we're going to be checking out Ben Shapiro and Malcolm Nance on critical race theory. This was on Real Time with Bill Maher. I've checked out Bill Maher's show. I like his show a lot. They have a lot of great debate in regards to like just media, politics, all kind of different different topics. A lot of great topics. So yeah, we'll check this one out too. You know, with Bill Maher.
I've not been the one to like be like so indulged in like politics and stuff like that because I feel like it sways people and you know, I don't know, you know how people see things differently and they act a certain type of way towards people, and so I don't know. I think it's a great debate to have, you know, political conversations, but I hate when it's just one-sided, you know, like and people just absolutely make you have to see it their way, or you're just some type of person, you know. So Ben Shapiro just be flying off the chain. No, he off the chain.
That's what that debate is. That's what that debate is for. It's that back and forth.
I feel like he is off the chain. No, okay, we about to see. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, y'all. Join the family, and let's jump into this video. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's get back into hard news. I hate it. We're having such a good time, and now we're gonna fight. And now I'm gonna make you fight again. But it's okay. But I got to talk about the muzzle laws. There's these laws that are been introduced in a number of states to not talk about critical race theory. Now, critical race theory, I must say, to begin with, I hadn't heard the term probably a year ago. Now I hear it every day. I think Americans are just starting to hear it. And I think no one knows exactly what it is. They know it has something to do with race, and it's some kind of a theory. Right?
Come on, Bill.
How would you describe it? And then we'll ask, how would you describe it? What is critical race theory?
I will admit that I read a lot of critical race theory in law school. So, you know, the work of Derek Bell or Gene Stefanczyk
This is
and
the
Richard
stuff
Delgado.
no one knows but you and 6 other people.
Right. So,
But what matters is what is it practically? It's being taught in schools or some form of...
yes, there's a certain sort of crystallized version of it that is a lot less complex than what critical race theory actually is. But critical race theory essentially argues that racism is baked into all the systems of American society and that any sort of neutral system is, in fact, a guise for racial power. And so the argument is made by Derek Bell, for example, that Brown versus Board of Education, this is an argument he made in 1991, that Brown versus Board of Education was actually a way for the white community to leverage its own power. It wasn't an attempt to end segregation in public schools. Even things that are purportedly good in terms of race, so long as they uphold these broader systems, things like capitalism or things like the meritocracy, these things are actually just guises for power. And so what that boils down to in sort of practical terms is all disparity equals discrimination. If you can see any stat where black people are underperforming white people, this means the system was set up for the benefit of white people and that white people have a duty to tear down these systems in order to alleviate the racism that's implicit in those systems. When it comes to schools, what this tends to boil down to is kids who are white have experienced privilege because the system was built for white people, and we have to change the standards.
Right. Now, okay, well, so Malcolm, you tell me your definition.
Oh, I agree with everything he just said.
Oh, great.
Okay. Hey,
look like...
hey, there's no debate, huh?
Wait, what? Okay, we don't have to, okay.
Yeah, Ben Shapiro looking around like, this is the first time this ever been done. This was easy.
He had to do a double take.
Yeah, let's check out see what Malcolm talking about.
Okay.
I agree with everything he just said.
Oh, great.
And I appreciate you being honest in defining of what it's like to be black American. Right? That is, I mean, we're talking about a system.
That's unfair.
No, I'm just saying I agree with all of those suppositions because they are grounded in truth. Look, you know, and the funny thing is, it's not just African Americans, right? It's also the the Scalp Act of 1749, where for $300 modern dollars, you had to cut off the head or the hair of an Indian to prove that you've got them out of the way so they could settle. That's a little bit of American history that people should know about. The Chinese Exclusion Acts of the 1840s. These are things we don't talk about.
That's not, I mean, first of all, that's not. It's not true that people don't talk about these things. We all did learn about...
You don't want them talked about?
No, that's not true either.
You want to cancel them?
No, Malcolm, I'm sorry, you're lying. That's lying.
That's just
Look. What is he lying about? He's not lying about anything.
I mean, no. That's a pretty broad statement to, you know what I mean? Maybe for him to say that he's lying. He said because you don't want them talked about, or you want to cancel them if they're talked about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and then he said you're lying.
Yeah, he's not. What is he lying about?
You think so? Mm-hmm. I just think no. I don't think that it's necessarily that is things that they don't want talked about. I just think that it's things that's not put out there for students to learn in school, in class, and it's not something that's not necessarily put out there, but it's. I wouldn't say that it's like they don't want them to talk about it. I
completely agree. I completely think that they don't want them to talk about it.
I just feel like there are levels in terms of gruesome events that took place in school that you would want to teach kids. Like I do agree that they should learn history and Black history and history in general, but I just feel like there's a level to that. You can't. I think there should be. Because what it gets really really hairy when you start talking about like the real stuff. Did you just say what he said?
Right, I heard what he said, but at the end of the day, you can't run from the truth. Like
no, you can't.
But you have to give the truth. I mean, you can present it in a better way based on the age group that you're giving it to. But at the end of the day, I don't think that you should completely eradicate things out of the system that just because they don't want it talked about because they don't want it highlighted or they don't want it seen. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to give the full truth. Just like here in Texas, like they are trying to eradicate, like literally trying to take, slavery out of the textbooks. So
I think it definitely. That goes with the whole, censoring and all that kind of stuff. Like, yeah.
You can censor it. You can censor it based on the age group, but just to completely eradicate it and just take the truth away. That's my thing. Don't take the truth away.
That's not true either.
You want to cancel them?
No, Malcolm, I'm sorry, you're lying.
That's
lying.
That's just lying.
It is lying. I've personally talked about many of the things that you just mentioned. I define critical race theory by citing the actual authors of critical race theory, and you seem to be a pretty good beneficiary of the meritocracy because you have merit, Malcolm. So if you're going to criticize the meritocracy as an outgrowth of white supremacy, then you're going to have to tear down the system that you've succeeded in because you have merit, or do not have merit.
I don't know, babe. That's the argument. If you got pulled, then why aren't you helping to fix the program? I mean, it's a good question. It's a valid question.
Yeah. I gotta hear that again. Let me hear it again one more time.
Merit, Malcolm. So if you're going to criticize the meritocracy as an outgrowth of white supremacy, then you're going to have to tear down the system that you've succeeded in because you have merit, or do not have merit.
When my great-great-grandfather ran away from slavery to join the 111th U.S. Colored Troops and fight against the South, keeping human beings as slaves, he didn't think, you know what? In 150 years, my great-great-grandson's going to have to sit on stage and argue with a guy who thinks all that's bullshit. All right?
What though?
I like the way this is going.
Ah, man.
I like the way this is going. Yeah, I felt Ben right before you had paused it the last time. I felt that Ben kind of was stepping over the line just a little bit because he's like, what I'm saying? He's telling Malcolm like, no, you've profited or you've gained a lot based on this meritocracy and the confound of what you think that this is being built on as far as like the racism and the meritocracy and all of those things. But at the same time, it doesn't take away what Malcolm just said right after that. Because I feel like Ben kind of like glossed over the whole idea of what he was saying in regards to like the slavery and the racism how that's like deep, how that's just deep rooted in our fabric. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then he's like, how's that bullshit? I'm like, come on, bro. Like, come on.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, that's bullshit. All right?
All of what is bullshit?
No. I'm just saying.
Malcolm,
There is no controversy.
Well, first of all, okay.
The controversy that's made up is people saying that this is being discussed, this is being taught in schools, and that kids should be kept away from it.
That's not true.
It's not even a real controversy.
Malcolm, the fifth largest school district in America, Clark County, just decided that they were going to lower standards with regard to testing because they wanted to alleviate disparities in outcomes. That is an outgrowth of critical race theory.
Can you draw a straight line to it?
Yes.
Really?
100%. Because when you say that the meritocracy is an outgrowth of white supremacy, and then you suggest that I'm somehow denying that slavery took place or that your great-great-great-grandfather was a hero because I'm saying that I want people tested when they are in school to see if they are good at school, then what you're purporting to push now is just nonsense. And it's sheer bullshit, Malcolm. It's just bullshit.
No, but I think it's also a leap to say that he thought that was bullshit. Because that's not what it is. I mean, are we talking about 2021? Or are we talking about 1861? Because
the point is, can we talk about 1861 and 2021?
Yes, we can. And
You just did.
I don't know who's against talking about history.
Well, I mean, I understand that they want to, in Texas, they're talking about removing references to the Ku Klux Klan. They're talking about removing. Well, I mean, come on.
That's Texas.
How can you watch Forrest Gump without even knowing who Nathan Bedford Forrest is, right? I mean, these are people who are historical figures who did bad.
Yeah, you remember Nathan Bedford Forrest? He was like supposedly like the guy that created the Ku Klux Klan in Forrest Gump. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's who he's referring to.
Things. No one is actually saying we want to go back and erase everything and restart and talk to you about these things. Critical race theory is a subject because the Republican right has made it a subject. No real school organizations are mandating this for kids.
I hope every Democrat in America takes your perspective, and they will be shellacked at the polls. Roy Teixeira just wrote a piece, the emerging Democrat majority, Roy Teixeira, he just wrote a piece about what he called the Fox News fallacy, a tendency of people on the left to believe that just because Fox News mentions something, it can't be real. The reality is a lot of this stuff is taught in schools.
You mean like viruses?
Well, okay.
Well,
can I?
What is he talking about?
He just be throwing stuff at her.
But you know what though? I don't, babe. I get that they're having this whole what is he talking about? What's even throwing me more I don't know. I feel like how this discussion has been discussed has been swayed by how the audience is I mean, granted, I can see a lot of people don't care for Ben. I don't know if I care for Ben. You know what I mean? I don't know. I haven't really quite figured it out because he seems very, he debates really hard. I wouldn't even say combative. He debates. I do know that he debates very well, and it's hard to win debates with him. But what are we talking about? The virus, it's just he's throwing out stuff that
kind of just to kind of combat what Ben said. And like you said, I guess you were saying in regards to the audience kind of cheering Ben on, kind of swaying the debate.
No, they're not cheering Ben on. They're cheering Malcolm on.
Yeah, they're cheering Malcolm on. I don't know. I mean, I don't know who the audience is. Maybe it's a lot of liberal people in there. You know, he got a lot of political people that come up there that want to hear that political debate on his show. So, like I said, I don't know. The audience might be a lot of liberals. I don't know.
Well, okay.
Well,
can I?
Now I'm just.
I don't know.
Now I'm just.
Right.
Can I just?
What you're talking
as far
about.
as what people.
That's what I'm wait, what? What are we talking about now? That's what what he say? Okay.
Yeah, he's talking about Fox
Now I'm
News.
just confused.
Can I just,
what you're talking
as far
about.
as what people are experiencing in their lives, in their schools.
Yeah.
Okay, you're right. There are states from the old Confederacy, I think, who do want to airbrush history. That's not, I think, the majority in this country. If you ask me critical race theory, if you say, does that mean teach history unvarnished? I would say yes. Then I'm totally for critical race theory. If you say, does it mean acknowledging that racism persists today? I would say yes. Teach that. Should we have remedial means? That's like affirmative action. There's lots of people who are against that. I'm still for that. I still think when you read the statistics, and I have some of them here, blacks earn 40% less, 90% less family wealth. High poverty high schools, 72% blacks to 31% white, live 6 years shorter, half as likely to go to college, 8 times more incarcerated. These are real statistics. The question is, what do we do to address them? These are
wonderful.
real statistics. You think we should address them? You think we should address them, right? The question is, what are we doing about it? Because if critical race theory means making children in school fixate on race, I'm not for that. If it's about collective guilt,
Good point.
I didn't do anything to your great-great-great-grandfather.
Right.
I don't want to be responsible for that. If it's about, a toxicity of just from being born white, if it's about dividing everybody into oppressor and oppressed and oppressor, I'm not for that. So there are things that are being taught and are going around that I'm not for, that if that was critical race theory, I wouldn't be for.
I agree with you, and I don't think that's critical race theory.
Nice.
But it's being,
I
well,
think
again,
what's happened here
The no true
is
Scotsman
that
fallacy
I
is
think
very
that what's happened here
Nice.
as this terminology, sort of like defund the police, has been hijacked and been framed around the left as that they want to do all this, they want to rip down the entire social fabric of America, and they want us to be guilty about everything. I want you to teach history. I had a lot of people in the military. Hold on. I had a lot of people in the military, senior officers who had to make life and death decisions who were total morons about the cultures and institutions and countries we were going into, and people died because
I have
of
a
that.
question.
I don't need that here.
If we agree that history should be taught, why are you defending critical race theory, which is not history?
Did I not just say a moment ago that I think that term has been hijacked and that's not what we're talking about?
Okay, so let's say
Then why are
critical
you
race
defending it?
I'm going to go back and repeat that I didn't say that.
Okay.
You are literally
Let's
defending
not-
critical race theory by redefining it as just teaching history.
I think right now they just don't like being everything that Malcolm said. They just finna clap anyway.
Wow.
Okay.
You are literally
Let's
defending
not-
critical race theory by redefining it as just teaching history, which is a cheap semantic trick, and you know it.
Is this what you do on your show? Because it sucks.
You know, Malcolm. Malcolm,
Did you see
I
his
appreciate
face?
that, but
I'm sure
I will comfort myself
sure we
tonight by
have a-
sleeping on my bed made of money.
I'm sure we have an adult. I'm sure we have
that-
I'm sure we have another adult subject to talk about.
Well, how about that Andrew Cuomo? I tell you, he's...
You gotta love Bill though. You gotta love Bill Maher.
Wow. Wait though. Oh man.
You gotta love Bill Maher on this. The one thing I love about Bill Maher is that whenever he has like guests that come onto his show, and no matter how far right or how far left they go in regards to, the debate, I just like how Bill Maher, how he always kind of brings it back like centered in regards to like what the focus should be on.
He's
I
talking
always
about
love Bill Maher for that.
So let me see. Hold on. Is the argument more about not teaching the correct history in school when it comes around, like, when you start talking about, slavery, racism, what it is today? I mean, because if he's reading out what real statistics are, I feel like that's something that should be put into, like, so kids are actually aware, like they know what is happening, and you know what I mean, so that they can make choices to do things differently. I don't know necessarily that teaching them about things that actually happened in history will have them feeling a certain type of way about black kids, white kids, Mexican kids, like in school, because I feel like, kids are kids. Like, at what point do they grow up and they get to a point of just hating a particular race? Who does that to them?
Yeah, and that's just based on society, based on what society pushes onto the youth.
Right.
Yeah.
But is that altered by how they are learning about the history in school? Because
Absolutely.
You think so?
It can definitely be shaped based on what you're teaching them and how you sensationalize certain topics. But
I mean, but there's only so much that you can learn in school at a certain, period of time. So is he talking about like the real, like the worst of it all, like the history that's not been included into the critical race theory that they need to, that they're the agenda behind pushing that into school? Because Ben is like, look, fair is fair. They need to learn history the way that it's being taught to pass school, to be good at school, however that works out. He's more so like, okay, well, how do they learn history if we're not teaching them about
the real history,
the stuff that they're leaving out, like the bad stuff, if you will,
or just the full story of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I felt like Malcolm kind of jumped the gun because Ben was only really just trying to explain, what the theory is, and I feel like Malcolm just kind of like hijacked it and just felt that. I think Malcolm felt that Ben was agreeing with the whole fact of what the critical race theory is when he was talking about like a meritocracy and things of that nature. That's where I feel like Malcolm kind of went off the rails to a degree, and then they started cheering him on. So then it's just like la 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 la. He, that's when he started throwing out other things about this is out here and this, and then they just started cheering, like he didn't really like Malcolm didn't say anything to. He didn't say much of substance to really like
justify his argument.
Not at all.
Because
he was just trying to throw out little salacious things because he saw that people were jumping on his bandwagon like the audience. I feel like he was playing for the audience.
I do agree that, like what Ben was saying, at the beginning, where he's like, "Oh, I agree with everything he just said," because it is embedded into, like, you know what I mean?
The fabric of America.
Yeah, perhaps it's a little bit glossy, when they teach us the history and stuff in school. I would probably agree. There's more that they could probably give us and teach us more about, but
overall, for me, I just like the fact that, again, like Bill Maher, I just feel like
why is it so sensitive though? Why are we okay? When we learned it in school, we learned it and shoot, everybody went on about their day. Everything was fine. Everybody was normal.
It's just an agenda thing because, with them trying to eradicate and change history, change the curriculum based on what they want children to learn, that in a sense is developing, their social construct, their psychological mentality towards, other races or just America as a whole. So all he was saying is that he wants everybody to learn the full meaning of what American history really, really means. Just what American history is. That's what Malcolm was saying. But I just feel like he just jumped the gun when Ben all he was doing was just explaining, basically what the theory is.
Yeah.
And he just went completely off the rails. I think the only person that I could really sit here and say that I agree with was Bill Maher. And I agree with him a lot of times because I feel like Bill is more of like a leftist, but I feel like he's more conscious and he's more woke in regards to, just the agendas of the American people and everybody as a whole. I like his outtake majority of the time.
I do like his outtake, but I think that the issue with him is that he's so caught on the statistical facts and not necessarily like, I feel like the argument there is how people feel about the type of history that's being taught, especially if it's one that's been affected, like slavery. Like he said, he was giving you, Indians. Like, I feel like they are the people who have like the bigger issues with what is actually being taught. But I feel like as long as it's being taught to some degree, I don't know how you approach that. So what are you saying? Put more of it in there, add more, because basically I feel like they're taking it out is what I feel like they're trying to say with the critical race theory.
Right.
Like glossing over, making it peachy, basically. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but no, it really based on what their agenda is, what they want someone to learn, what they want somebody to think, how they want somebody to grow up with their projection of what America is and what it's founded on.
But haven't you had to grow up and learn things on your own in general? I just, in general, If you want to learn something about something, you read about it. If you want to know more about something, you read about it. Like, everything can't be taught to you. Some things you got to learn on your own.
Right, but at the same time, understanding social construct and how it's created, how you can sway a whole generation of people to think a certain way based on what they're being taught at an adolescent age.
I can see that.
That's where the problem kind of lies in regards to the critical race theory.
Yeah.
But I just, again, like I said, I just feel like Ben, which is really just explaining, like I didn't really see Ben was really like doing anything wrong, saying anything wrong. I just feel like Malcolm just hijacked the argument and just kind of just took it over the rails. And I like how Bill Maher kind of brought it back brought it back to center where it needed to be at.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
because I agree with what he said.
Yeah.
I 1000%, I did. I agree with what he said. I don't know about how you.
I just don't know what the solution to be.
Fix that problem. Yeah,
You know what I
I'm
mean?
just, damn.
Everybody
These
that's watching,
debates, though,
everybody
y'all.
that's watching, maybe y'all can drop a comment and let us know what the solution should be. But at the end of the day, like I said, man, it's just a lot of great people like kind of going back and forth, and really it's good. The debate is good.
Who's right in
like
the
to see it.
conflict, though? Like, who's right about
Bill
that?
Maher.
Do we teach more? Do we put more in there? Do we not take it out? But I'm just like, I feel like we weren't affected then as kids in our generation. Why is it so much of an effect now? I guess, is it because of how much of that they're taking out of it that is affecting the kids? Is what you're saying?
I think is that they're glossing over the truth. That's just how it is. Like we want the truth to be told. That's all.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, well, y'all let us know these debates, man.
Y'all jump in them comments, let us know what y'all think. Man, like I said, man, I feel like Ben wasn't wrong. So, man, y'all let me know.
I can see how people get caught up in this, though, like, for real. Like, even just sitting here thinking about it, I'm like, man, whew, okay? It's a lot to think about, and it's a lot, so.
Absolutely. Y'all let us know what y'all think. Hit that like button. Go ahead and comment and subscribe. And, man, y'all tap in with us and let us know, man.
Yeah.
Let us know. Man, this critical race debate, man, it could go on for ages.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah.
If y'all like this content too, let us know. I know we don't went on, babe. We gotta go. We gotta go. Let them go.
Okay. Well, peace out, y'all. We're gonna touch down with y'all real soon.
I love y'all. Y'all have a good one. Mwah. If ain't nobody told you. Bye.
Dust in your body.